Here and very quickly say a few things as well to the class and to all of you that are here present today.
Thank you, Chief. Senior means like older, like experience, just so that's clear. After 35 years of doing this job, it's awesome to be able to mentor this group right here. Great group. They came together from day one and started working hard every day. The folks behind them should be proud of them, of their accomplishment today, and what they're going to move forward doing. If you all are like me and my father, when I finally finished my academy, he says, pues ponte a trabajar, you know, and he threw out some other words, but I won't.
And now from McAllen City Hall, a meeting of the McAllen City Commission.
Good afternoon. Welcome to today's City Commission meeting. We'll start with a Pledge of Allegiance, followed by an invocation by Mayor Pro Tem Joaquin Zamora.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you could remain standing. Heavenly Father, we thank you for having the privilege of serving our city of McAllen. I pray, Father, that as we discuss our agenda and craft policies for our city, we will always put the people's interests above our own. Remind us, Father, that we are in this position not to be served, but to serve the public, just as Christ, who is King, came not to be served, but to serve, and ultimately die on the cross to save us. We pray, Father, that we uphold what is moral and rational in this meeting. In Lord Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. We have a presentation. It's Tom, Texas. Sochi.
We're going to have Nancy and Michelle come up, and anyone that's here regarding this item can please come up.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, and City Council, and those present here today. We're proud to present that It's Time Texas is a statewide nonprofit organization that works to bring people, communities like this one, and organizations together to take action that supports health for all now and generations to come. We believe that all Texans, no matter where they live, their age, their race, their income, should have the resources, support, and opportunities to prioritize their health and live their best and healthiest lives. As you may know, It's Time Texas hosts a statewide annual community challenge that brings Texans together to join the movement of healthy living. I wanted to share some of the statistics that the city of McAllen has had. A total number of participants in McAllen, 1,535. The total points earned, 5,923,400. The total number of meals with fruits and or vegetables reported were 22,511. The total ounces of water consumed, almost 500,000. The total high fives given were almost 8,000. And now I'd like to introduce Ms. Tanya.
Thank you so much for having us today. It's an honor to present the City of McAllen, the recognition winner of large community for the 2023 It's Time Texas Community Challenge. Congratulations. We would like to thank the city leadership, the mayor, the commissioners, and thank you all, the community who has shown up and made cautious decisions to make healthier, more active choices. Thank you everyone who participated in this year's Community Challenge. We encourage you to continue your health journey and to visit us at itstimetexas.org, where you can find more resources and health-focused opportunities. Again, thank you and congratulations.
I just want to add, this is McAllen's 6th time winning.
Yeah. Photo.
You're very welcome.
And next we have a proclamation, CDBG Week, by Commissioner Quintanilla.
We'll be going from health to housing at this first-class city of McAllen that we are. So, I'm proud to give the following proclamation. Whereas the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development implemented the Community Development Block Grant Program in 1974 for the purpose of providing local governments with financial resources to provide decent, affordable housing and suitable living environment and expanding economic opportunities, principally for persons of low and moderate income. And whereas the City of McAllen has received more than $85.4 million from the CDBG grant and an additional $18.4 million in home and ESG funds. And whereas the City of McAllen adheres to policies set forth in Title VIII of the Civil Rights legislation, also known as the Fair Housing Act. And whereas aid legislation was first adopted in April 1968 by President Lyndon B. Johnson, which now prohibits discrimination in housing practices based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, disability, or familiar status. And now, therefore, I, Omar Quintanilla, City Commissioner of the City of McAllen, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested in me, and on behalf of the Mayor and City Commission, do hereby proclaim the week of April 10th through the 15th, 2023 as Community Development Week, and further, the month of April as Fair Housing Month. Congratulations.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Commissioners, and City Manager. My name is Erica Perez, and I'm the Chair of the Community Development Advisory Board. I would like to thank you on behalf of the CD Board, staff, and residents for proclaiming the week of April 10th as CDBG Week and the month of April as Fair Housing Month. This year marks the 49th anniversary of the CDBG program. To put it in monetary terms, the City of McAllen has received more than $110 million in entitlement funds to provide services to low-income residents. Community development funds have been used to provide affordable housing, park improvements, public facilities, and infrastructure upgrades such as water, sewer, and drainage line installation, sidewalks, and street repaving. April is also Fair Housing Month throughout the country. As recipients of the funds of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, it is important that we maintain equal access to housing for all persons and that we do our best to eradicate discriminatory actions in housing. Mayor and Commissioners, we are proud to be a part of the success of the CDBG program and want to express our sincere thanks for this proclamation. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Hey, Kelly.
Good job, Yvette.
And item 1, public hearings.
Good evening, Commissioners. Tonight, we initially had 3 items listed under routine. Since the agenda was published, we have received opposition for A1. So I would recommend we take that one out. But as far as the other ones, they obviously come with a favorable recommendation from P&Z and had received no opposition. So the 2 remaining items would be a rezone from R3T to C3 at 2600 North 24th, and a conditional use permit for life of the use for auto service and repair at 4201 Pecan.
Do we have anybody here to speak against the items?
Move to approve. Second. 2 and 3, and we'll discuss the 1.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 1.
Yes, sir. This is a rezoning from R1 to R3T at 1200 East Yuma. This property is located on the south side of Yuma, approximately 1,200 feet west of South Jackson. It does measure 3.96 acres. The adjacent zoning is R1 in all immediate directions, with R3C in the northwest and R3A to the southwest. The applicant is requesting R3T for a proposed townhouse development named Garden Rose Subdivision. The development trend along Yuma is a mix of single-family homes as well as multifamily homes. The item was presented at March 21st P&Z. There was no opposition then, and it was unanimously recommended for approval. But again, last Thursday, we did receive opposition, specifically citing privacy issues with townhomes being usually 2 stories high.
Do we have anybody here to speak against the issue? Yes.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Charles Miles. I live at 2529 South J Street, which is directly opposed to the location that's in question. It's going to be lot 28 on your piece. I do believe there is a violation, not a violation, but I do believe it's inconsistent with some of the pieces in process of the rezoning piece. I believe that the proposed variance will alter the essential character of the neighborhood, which is in which I live, is number one. Number two, I do also believe that it sits, this does represent a minimum change to the variance. So I believe that changing it from R1 to R3T does raise some privacy issues as well. My house is directly behind that location. A second tier would allow the individuals to look directly into my backyard and so I'd lose my privacy. I'm not sure if there's any conditional things that can be put in place in that spot as well. I also do believe that it would affect our property value as a whole, butting up against our residents. And so I just wanted the opportunity to be able to speak to you, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Edgar, the current zoning would allow a 2-story building.
That is correct. All our residential zones, R1, R2, R3A, R3T, and R3C, allow up to 25 feet in height. So there's enough space there for a good number of single-family homes that could also conceivably go up to 2 stories. Yes, sir.
Based on the size of the property in question for rezoning, what is the maximum number of townhouses that could be built?
The code would allow something around 40. But once you start taking streets into account and green area and everything, they've basically maximized what they've proposed with about 35 lots is what is currently proposed. Yes, sir.
For the townhomes?
Townhomes, yes, sir.
How many single residentials can fit there?
With the configuration, that'd be kind of hard to know, Commissioner. I would, in estimation, it would be around 15 once you consider the street that would have to go in there and then a cul-de-sac at the end so you can come back out.
Still, it can be a 2-story home.
100%. It could go up to 25 feet in height.
Yes, sir. Did you have something else?
One of the pieces I did leave out is that if it is up to 35, which is being allotted, 30 and above requires 2 exits to be out of there. There's no proper conditioning for that to be allowed unless the subdivision is going to be sprinklered. That would be one side of it. The other side of this is that when it was initially brought as an R1, it was bought by a development company, and so they knew in advance that they were going to be changing the zoning piece of that into R3, which violates kind of that tenure, I believe.
Yes, sir.
I mean, so yes, once a subdivision goes up to 30 units, there is a trigger. That will be taken care of the subdivision process. As of this point, that subdivision has only received preliminary approval. They are waiting, obviously, on this rezoning, which could change things. Also detention and landscaping. So there's other things that may ultimately end up decreasing the amount of lots.
Okay, any discussion anymore? Anybody else?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item B.
Item B1 and B2, those items have been withdrawn by the applicants. Those are rezonings at 2800 South Ware and 3500 South Ware.
Item C.
Yes, sir. Conditional use permit for 1 year for a bar at 2022 Nolana Avenue. This property is located on the north side of Nolana, west of Bicentennial. It is zone C3. Adjacent zoning is C3 all around with uses including businesses, restaurants, and IMAS. The applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to operate a bar Monday through Sunday from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. out of a 3,500 square foot area. The item was presented at the March 21st P&Z. There was no opposition, and it was unanimously disapproved with a favorable recommendation. We are recommending approval.
And do we have anybody to speak against the item?
I'm sorry, the reason is because I know it has been withdrawn, but we just wanted to speak our piece if it's possible since it is a public hearing on the withdrawn rezoning.
This item isn't on the agenda.
It's
I'm
not
not
on the
aware that they
agenda.
signed up for public comment, Mayor.
Okay.
Would be impermissible.
Okay, yeah, it would be impermissible for our councils. Next time it's in there, we'll see what we can do.
Okay, yeah, because I did call the office, Mr. Mayor, and I was told that all we needed to do is show up and we will be heard. There are several of us that we still have a concern that the city is still trying to rezone that area, and it is a wetland.
And it'll come back up. Right. Okay. Next item? Or no, we were on C.
Yeah.
Anybody here to speak against the item?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Next item is a conditional use permit for life of the use at 6820 North Taylor. That needs to be taken off the table.
Motion to remove from table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. It's off the table.
You tabled it at the last meeting, then? Correct. We're taking it off the table so we can hear it. Thank you.
Okay, do we have anybody here to speak against the item?
Do you want me to present it, or? It's A-okay with me? I mean, I think she's ready.
Yeah, give us a little bit of.
Gotcha. So this property is located on the east side of North Taylor, approximately 1,400 feet north of Lark. It is zoned AO. The adjacent zoning is AO to the north, east, and south, and then outside of city limits to the west. The applicant is requesting for a conditional use permit for a dog kennel for life of the use from her 2,700 square foot home on a 1 acre lot. Staff received one phone call in opposition, citing dogs barking at all hours and then traffic. The item was presented at the March 7th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. There was one neighbor who appeared in opposition, again citing the aforementioned issues. After some discussion, P&Z disapproved with a favorable recommendation for a 5-year approval as opposed to life of the use. That is what staff is recommending as well.
Okay, and see the confidence I have in my commission, I knew they had already read it. Okay, do we have anybody here to speak against the issue?
Motion to approve staff recommendation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item D, I need a motion to amend the zoning ordinance of the city of McAllen.
Motion to amend.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 2, consent agenda, items A through
N.
N. Do we need to pull anything out?
Motion to approve. A to N.
Second.
Nobody needs to pull out anything? Okay, there being a first and second, do I hear, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion carries.
Mayor and Commissioners, 3A is consideration and approval of a license agreement for the installation of a private storm line across our city right-of-way.
Mayor and Commission, good evening. Developer Domain Development Corporation and owner John R. Willis Management Partnership LTD of Falcons Cove subdivision request approval to cross city right-of-way for the purpose of installing a 24-inch RCP storm line connecting the two stormwater detention facilities for the subdivision. The property owner is in concurrence with the terms outlined in the license agreement, including removal and relocation of the detention facilities at the owner's expense if the city requires the use of the right-of-way. Staff recommends approval of the license agreement requested, and we open it up for any questions.
There's nothing that affects us right now or probably in the near future.
No, sir, it's just a 24-inch line that connects two detention ponds that were only allowed one outfall, so they needed this to make the subdivision go forward.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item B.
And I'll abstain, Mayor. Sorry.
Okay.
B is consideration and approval of developer's contract for participation on Freddie Gonzalez between 23rd and 25th.
This item, as part of the subdivision process, the developer, Domain Development Corporation, is required to complete their half of the public improvements along Freddy Gonzalez Avenue. In order to complete the 65-foot back-to-back paving, an additional 15 feet approximately would be required along the north side of Freddy Gonzalez between 23rd and 25th Street. Staff requested an estimate from the engineer to review the additional costs for the developer to fully expand Freddy Gonzalez. The engineer, on behalf of the developer, is willing to include the northern expansion of Freddy Gonzalez in the project and requested city participation to fully widen Freddy Gonzalez Road at this time. Staff recommends approval of the request to participate with $209,901.45, or 30% of the total construction cost, whichever is less. And we open it up for any questions.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item C.
C is consideration approval of change order number 2 for Quince Avenue and 27th Street.
Mayor and Commission, change order number 2 consists of the addition of contract scope to, as requested by MPU, to facilitate a program water line adjustment. The amended scope results in a net change of $87,500 and 40 additional calendar days. McAllen Public Utility will participate with $76,500 of the total change in the contract amount. The proposed changes are listed below. Staff recommends approval of change order number 2 in the net amount of $87,500 with 40 additional calendar days for a revised contract amount of $1,668,935 and a revised contract time of 220 calendar days. And we open it for any questions.
Any questions?
Well, real quick on number 8, you were saying number 5 that PUB is coming in with 76,500,
That's correct.
and then number 8 it says 60,000.
I think that's a typo. We had originally,
Okay.
we're at
Just
60,000, but there was a line item we split, and that took them to 76,500.
Okay, let's approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Next item, item D.
D is consideration approval of change order number 2 for McAllen Hidalgo International Bridge pedestrian improvements.
Mayor and Commission, there's two change orders as part of change order number 2. One of the change orders is for the canopy that we had previously approved, where we'll be moving pedestrians outside. So we built a shade structure with some air condition. We got with CBP. CBP had some security concerns. We had to add additional doors and another breezeway for their officers to come back and forth. That proposal is $9,400. The second proposal is CBP is seeing construction. They got with bridge administration and had some changes to a water fountain, hanging a door. They had a couple items that they wanted added to the project. That came at $8,700. All items will be covered by a contingency that's already in the contract, so there is no cost increase to the contract at this time. The architect has reviewed it, and staff, we recommend approval for change number 2 in the amount of $18,100 to be applied against the contingency and allowances, and 40 additional working days for an unchanged contract amount of $1,165,875, and a revised contract time of 40 working days, or to add 40 working days. And we open it up for any questions.
Any questions?
I'd like to note, I will be taking this, we're bringing it today, but we'll be taking the bridge board in May. But since there is no
And
contract
this was
increase.
mostly additions, though.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And no
pretty much.
increase.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Next item. Item E.
Item E, Mayor, is consideration approval of change order number 6 for Parks and Rec Administration Building.
The Parks and Recreation change order number 6 is for the purchase of a temporary main breaker in order to have the building energized sooner, as the main breaker for the project has been delayed due to availability of electrical material. Staff, Negrete Kohler and staff recommend approval of change order number 6 for Parks and Rec Administration for the revised contract amount of $13,243,856.69, and we open it up for any questions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item F.
F is award of contract for the McAllen Convention Center HVAC upgrades.
Mayor and Commission, City of McAllen recently had an assessment performed on multiple facilities. The assessment was to evaluate the existing air conditioning system and controls. Climatech has reviewed the assessment information and provided a proposal to provide and install the building automated systems and coordination with MEP engineers for the mechanical engineering equipment at a cost of $319,300. Alex Group, LLC, and engineering staff recommend award of the contract to the responsible bidder, Climatech Merging Buildings and Technology of Austin, Texas, for the total base bid in the amount of $319,300, work to be completed in 120 calendar days, and we open it up for any questions.
Any questions?
Is it in the budget?
Yes, this is part of the energy efficiency that we've been going around doing all the buildings. This is the second to last project.
Okay.
How many units are actually going to end up being replaced?
There's varying items on this one. There were 7 motorized dampers, 1 air handler, motor. So it's kind of a mixture
Oh, it's
based
not a
on what.
wholesale that we're going to take everything out? we're gonna
Not
replace
all
it?
items are wholesale
I
like
see.
that.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Next item, item H. No,
G
J.
is award contract for the Champion Lakes Golf Course erosion control.
The scope of work includes the reconstruction and stabilization of a section of eroded bank along the lake features at holes 3 and 4. Staff solicited bids. We had 2 base options. We're recommending the alternate bid if the alternate bid item. If the item is approved, the engineering department recommends working with a contractor to expand the contract scope not to exceed 25% and address erosion beyond the originally identified extents. A formal change order will be presented at a later date. Staff recommends award of the contract to the single responsive bidder, 4MA Construction LLC of Alton, Texas, in the amount of $340,344.57 with a contract time not to exceed 60 calendar days. And we open it up for any questions.
Is this the outfall for the radon drain?
No, this is further away, back at holes 3 and 4. There's been erosion going along that whole pond, just kind of with the waves. And so we solicited 2 systems. We've got with golf course staff. They like the way this system looks. It was very comparable to the base bid. And we recommend, since there is more money in the budget, to get more linear footage, working with a contractor, and extend the project scope 25% at least.
Is this involving putting that riprap rock or?
No, this is a different system that we'll be putting on. So one was a mesh of, looks like grass that will hold down the ground. The other one is a tilt, like a wall that a panel you drill straight down to have a fall off.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Next item.
Award of contract for Champions Lake West Bridge repairs.
The scope of work includes structural repairs for the existing prefabricated steel pedestrian bridge cart serving the west side of the course along holes 7 and 8. A detailed bid tabulation is attached for your review. Janine Engineering LLC and staff recommend award of the contract to the lowest responsive bidder, JJ Builds of Edinburgh, Texas, in the amount of $150,000 with a contract time not to exceed 60 days, and we open it up for any questions.
How old is this bridge?
I think when I checked, it was approximately about 20 years, this bridge.
What was the expected life?
I did tell you I was going to get that, and I apologize, Mayor. I'll get that to you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
How many of those do we have?
We have 2, and we'll be probably presenting something in a budget to
And
repair.
approximately about the same age?
About the same age.
Same issues?
Yes, a little bit of corrosion on the bottom.
Didn't we already have 2 others years and years ago removed?
We replaced one several years back. I think Mario's here. He replaced one that's off of hole 7, I believe.
Yeah. They'll last you 20, 25 years.
What was the replacement cost, if you recall?
I don't have that at the top of my head. I can get it.
Because when I'm looking at replacement cost versus fixing up.
They're running the millions, probably a million plus.
Yeah, I'd say we fix them up.
No.
They do
It's
come
very
in a-
expensive.
They are pricey.
So,
Oh, yeah, you have to refurbish it. They're very expensive.
Maybe we need to make them out of wood. They last forever.
I don't know if we have
Okay.
the cost for anything.
Any other questions, issues? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
All against? Motion carries. Item F.
Item I, Mayor, is high-density mineral bond pavement preservation project.
The proposed project will help delay the aging process of approximately 65,000 square yards or 3.1 miles of a 36-foot wide road through the city of McAllen. Spray application of the high-density mineral bond. The purpose of this project is to fix any distresses not to fix any stresses that are already present, but rather to treat pavement prior to distressing and forming in order to delay the aging process and the onset of distresses. Staff recommends award of the contract to Andale Construction of Valley Center, Kansas, for the total based amount of $256,566.38, with a contract time of 12 working days, and we've included the map and the proposal for y'all's review.
I recall that we had a contract like this last year. Did it go out to the same bidder?
Yes, so we're using an interlocal agreement with Hearst for this, for the pricing.
Oh, I see.
And Edinburgh has used this contract, a couple other cities, Rancho Viejo, so it's pretty comparable to what others have received.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item J.
I suggest we table the item, Mayor.
Motion to table.
Fair second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item K.
K is award a contract for the purchase and delivery of 3 new 2023 police motorcycles.
Mayor, City Commission, Public Works is seeking your authorization to purchase 3 motorcycles for the police department through a purchase contract with Jimenez Motorsports LLC, DBA, RGV Cycle, San Juan, Texas, in the amount of $81,846.66. On November the 3rd of 2022, purchasing solicited bids, and on January 2023, opened that one sole bid received from Jimenez Motorsports, who failed to submit the acquired bid bond. However, the purchasing department may proceed with the City Commission approval of a waiver of technicality, meaning that the purchasing department may proceed with requesting the bid bond. The bid amount is $6,684.66 over budget and subject to a budget amendment. City manager has the right to reject bids if vendor does not comply with specification as noted on the bid package. Staff recommends approval. Any questions?
Delivery? Or they're available? I didn't get that.
Are they delivery?
What is the delivery?
The delivery time frame, do you remember? I don't have that information, but I'll get it for you.
Questions, comments?
Well, I mean, it is a sole bid, but it is a local bid, and I guess the staff is recommending. Have we used them before? Have we bought from them before?
This is a brand-new vendor. We've never used them before. They are local. They will support the warranty and the maintenance service of these units.
So moved.
Second. But only if Roy gets to drive it.
Well, it's a BMW, so I don't know.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 4.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'm going to go ahead and go to B. That's the ordinance that is related to that item you just approved.
Motion to.
Second.
Budget
All in
amendment.
favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 4A.
4A is consideration and approval of an ordinance updating the city's fireworks regulations. Final.
Mr. Mayor, Commission, Mr. City Manager, as previously discussed, we're here to provide you with an option with adjustments as previously talked about on the fireworks ordinance. The large outdoor displays, that's something that we had already discussed, and so the adjustments that we had made as required or requested was for private displays, or also referred to as minor displays. This will require a pyrotechnics to be on site. Initial permit fee will be of $500. The permit renewal will be of $100, and the permit will be valid for 6 months. Those are the baseline highlights. There's more to it, but I'll open it up for any questions if you may have any.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So the ordinance reads, a minor on-site display requires a permit issued under this division, provided that they are qualified professional pyrotechnics. Any adult or any entity may apply for a permit. So, let's say a restaurant that has this type of this service or activity would require a professional pyrotechnic, or?
That is correct. They are required to have the certification under the state of Texas.
Do any of them currently have?
Not that I'm aware of, but I know that there are some, like the gentleman that's been here before presenting, that his intention is to certify his staff because they are required to be there every time as they are utilizing those devices.
Do you know what the process is? Is it something that's?
It's not that complicated. So it's an application to the State Farmer's Office. They'll go through an educational process through them, and that is what they need to present to the local fire marshal to make sure that they get approval for the permit.
Okay.
What constitutes a minor display?
Minor display is any display that will be especially indoors. It can be outdoor as well, but these are the ones that don't encompass any self-propel type of fireworks. So that's where the sparklers that we have been talking about come into the picture, where those are electrical devices that get connected and they produce that referred to as cold spark.
I would just like to add one thing. The chief may have forgotten this. We've been approached by MISD and possibly other school districts that they've got fireworks displays in their graduations. And so we wanted to bring that to your attention and include those as city functions.
I agree.
I would consider those city functions anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Governmental function or governmental.
But they will have somebody that
Yes,
reviews it.
And get a permit.
And get a permit and the whole bit, yes.
Yeah.
Safety is very important.
That is correct. And in those events, we will be sending a crew to be on standby, for safety
So
reasons
moved.
and so on.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against?
One.
Motion carries.
Notice the Commissioner
Thank you.
Tenio had a grimace.
5A is a resolution to authorize land acquisition of Dove Avenue improvements, Benson Road to 41st Street as part of Pride of Texas Lot 238.
Mr. City Manager, I'll address items 5A and B. And those are resolutions I'm asking the City Commission to consider adopting. The Engineering Department is working to expand Dove Avenue at Benson, and to do so needs 2 corner clips. Both of them are 313 square feet. We would like authority to negotiate with the owners to be able to acquire the property. That's what these resolutions would allow me to do.
Motion to approve as to both
Second.
resolutions.
All in favor for 5A and B?
Aye.
All against? Motion carries.
I want to
Manager's
note
report.
that I'm abstaining from that.
Yes, sir.
6A is consideration of a roundabout at 33rd Street and Oxford Avenue.
Mayor and Commission, last meeting, we presented a roundabout at the workshop. The Engineering Department is seeking the City Commission's guidance and input to the implementation for the construction of a roundabout at the intersection of 33rd and Oxford as part of the 33rd Street Road extension. The project currently is at design development, and we're at the point where we want to give design direction to the engineer. We're looking for your all's approval to move forward with a roundabout at that location, and we open it up for any questions.
Mendoza, were you able to determine if what you're looking at in terms of a roundabout is going to be similar in size, diameter as the one?
It at minimum would be that size. Right now what we've done is preliminary put a template over it to see that we could fit something of that size. So it at minimum would be that size or larger.
That looks
if
like
we
a
had to.
real tight squeeze. It looks like
There is some right of way that would likely have to be acquired, but we do have right of way funds as part of the project, and we seek your guidance.
No, I like it. Just a question, the one on Auburn, there's a piece of art in the middle. How did y'all find that or decide what went in there?
I can't remember
Diamonds,
where that
right?
piece of art came.
No, I like it, but these things provide an outlet for
public art.
Public sculpture, public art. Obviously, it can't be too, you got to be able to see through it.
Originally, there was no art, and I think at some point, the city was buying pieces of art, and
Yeah.
I think they chose that as one location.
If I'm not mistaken, that sculpture was at some point on IMA's property,
I think you're right.
and it got moved over there.
It might have.
But it's a good opportunity to plan for something like that again. I think it's nice.
Yep.
Some people dislike the roundabouts. I love them.
I love them.
I think they're
They work.
fantastic. And people are concerned about accidents. There in Auburn, the only accident I've ever seen is when I got hit myself. But other than that.
Probably because you
it's
stopped
like-
and didn't know how to use it.
No, I was already past. I was already past. But
yeah.
no, they're great. I mean, you just go.
Now, consideration, right past 33rd, it has a curve, I guess, a swale or whatever, yeah, there. So it's in consideration with the
So-
look after that swale coming in, that it's far enough for it not to for the safety part of it. In other words, I don't know how to explain it very well, but it is close to that swale there.
They'll have to look at adding curb and gutter, and then they'll have to look at site distance for that to make sure that they can design it correctly.
Very good.
So this would be the next step would be for them to start designing. and
Exactly. I
putting
want
the
you to
safety
look
features.
at that very closely. It makes sense to have it, but it does, that street in itself was built, heaven knows why, the way it is, but it has some challenges, so make sure that you review that, and traffic-wise, it makes sense at the speed that they're running.
Yes, sir. Do we need action on this, or just the guidance? like
Yes,
that?
you do.
Unless you've driven it,
Make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Respite report.
Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, the immigrant drop-off numbers from CBP and ICE remain fairly steady at present. 2 weeks ago, we had 650 total drop-offs with a COVID positivity rate of 0.8%. Last week, we had 901 drop-offs with a COVID positivity rate of 0.9. So we're averaging about 775 per week. Our COVID positives over the last 6 weeks is 1.3% positive. Ansel Lewis Park remains in standby mode with the ability to surge numbers if needed, and we continue to await the potential end of Title 42 here in about a month. Happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Future agenda items.
I would like to include Mayor El Rancho Road RDF Park.
El Rancho,
Yeah.
just a report on it?
Well, I guess we're kind of ready to move forward and check on the.
See where we're at?
Mhm.
Okay.
Anything else?
I just want to advise the commission, we're looking at a June 12th date. As you know, we've had a lot of discussions with Palm Valley Animal Shelter, inclusive internally, we've talked about, and I think Victor already stepped out, but I've had a lot of discussion with the chief on animal control, and we would like to have a presentation with really an expert in this field. She is from Florida, so I need time to get her over here, and have a really in-depth discussion with the city commission about how we do business and possibly how we can change how we do business and improve our efficiency tremendously, is what we believe. And so I just want you to know that we're looking at June 12th to bring them in, including Palm Valley staff. That's all I got.
Thank you. And item number 7, tabled items. What do we have?
Mayor, my understanding is that matter has been withdrawn.
Okay. We'll recess into executive session. And we're back from executive session. Council, what do we have?
Mayor, with respect to item 8A, I recommend the City Commission consider a motion authorizing the city attorney to file the lawsuit described in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Mayor, with respect to item 8B, I recommend that the City Commission consider a motion by record vote as follows: that the movement authorize the use of the power of eminent domain to acquire the following parcel of land, a 313 square foot tract of land more or less situated in the city of McAllen, Hidalgo County, Texas, being part or portion of lots 47, Blossom Ridge subdivision, map reference volume 42, page 174, Hidalgo County map records. Said tract of land being more particularly described by meets and bounds on the presented Exhibit A, attached to the resolution and incorporated herein for all purposes, and presented to the City Commission, save and accept all oil, gas, mineral, and sulfur rights, and made part hereof for all purposes for utility connections in McAllen, Texas, and other necessary and related public purpose.
Do I have a motion to the effect as stated by council?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
It needs to be record vote, Mayor. I'm sorry.
That's correct, it's record vote.
I am
Commissioner Castillo?
Aye.
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 And I am abstaining.
Motion passes, carries.
Mayor, with respect to item 8C, I recommend that the City Commission adopt the following motion, that the City of McAllen is authorized to use the power of eminent domain to acquire the following parcel of land, a 313 square foot tract of land more or less situated in the city of McAllen, Hidalgo County, Texas, being part or portion of Lot 238, Pride of Texas subdivision, map reference volume 5, pages 58 through 59, Hidalgo County map records. Said tract of land being more particularly described by meets and bounds on the presented Exhibit A, attached to the resolution and incorporated herein for all purposes, and presented to the City Commission, save and accept all oil, gas, mineral, sulfur rights, and made part hereof for all purposes for utility connections in McAllen, Texas, and other necessary and related public purpose.
Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
And again, by record vote, Mayor.
Aye.
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 And I'm abstaining.
Okay, council?
Mayor, with respect to item 8D, I recommend the City Commission consider a motion authorizing city manager and city attorney to negotiate the economic development incentives described in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
And Mayor, with respect to item 8E, I recommend that the City Commission consider a motion authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate the contract issues described in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Mayor, I have no more items to offer you.
There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
Regular City Commission meetings are held on the second and fourth Monday of each month. Meetings are rebroadcast on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays on the McAllen Cable Network.
Out to be part of your team too.
As the City of McAllen celebrates International Women's Day, let us remember these powerful messages and continue to work towards not only our own goals, but also helping other women along the way. Let us honor the contributions of women in all fields so that we can all walk with a purpose. For the City of McAllen, Leah Yaves.